Hiding is thrillsome. Many of us grew up loving how Jeannie would hide from Dr. Bellows week after week, and digging up toys hidden inside boxes had a charm far greater than the toy itself.
I think I still played hide and seek in high school for the cheap thrill, since hanging down at the creek was the only game in my town.
Pretty much always a seeker. What? Were you too old to play hide and seek in high school? I bet you still play along, no matter how old you are. And here's a surprise. I bet you're a seeker too, just like me. If you were thinking you were too cool to be a seeker, I'd show you 8 things you want to know that the Enemedia hides from you. Every moment. Have you ever felt that your identity has been interrupted? Who are you even? So you know you're a denomination, praying to a certain god, or perhaps you're one yourself, perhaps owing to the region you were born in, perhaps relating to the culture that raised you. And of course, given the present century off of the millions before this one that teaches you, the spawn of today, the right line of thought, the most appropriate behavioral methodology to survive. You see, this conditioning in fashionable philosophical ways of talk is the true and only definition of Enemedia. What it doesn't teach you and keeps from you deftly is how the hell did you inherit this jacket of these super awesome faculties? The hands you do not do that much with, that bifurcated brain, your parts you do so much with using your hand, but you have zero primal memory of having worked hard for them. If it takes a few months to build a bicep but a few inches, how much should you have had to work if you had to account for your entire arm? How would you begin designing it even? Procrastinators would probably not even have any, and no one certainly would have small ones. How much we get in terms of our bodily faculties, as opposed to most commonly what we do for them or with them, with no accounting on our part, can create the biggest biological subprime crisis in our lives every weekend. It was, after all, the missing link that evolved painstakingly. That link worked with family to make you these 2 hands and 2 legs, just the right size, to make sure you are entirely convenienced. And we won't ever know about those Smiths, get to know them, or even so much as say thank you. Billions have died before us to give us these hands, and we don't know them. Imagine a Neanderthal, and most of us have them in us, showing up on your door with a bill. Therefore, whose life is this that we find ourselves born within and continue on living day after day? I mean, many of us would want to trade a limb for an extra eye. Many would instead want to be transmuted into an equal body with a far greater standard of life than many human populations en masse. What did you evolve anyways for this body for it to be stuck to you now? We are greatly stuck to our human bodies.
Where's your team? Especially if, like the N number of people alive today, you don't fit in among those around you, at home, at work. And what supposes you to use the missing link's hard work so carelessly? Aren't you kind of belonging to an inertia that left you with these limbs, the symmetric expression, this extreme desire for everything sexual and color till the day you die? Like when you can't even make babies safely, you'd still look like you were built to please an opposite's eyes. This forgetfulness of something deeper, for sure bigger and ancient. We don't even know why we all sleep. Your identity is perhaps the number one thing that the Enemedia keeps from you by lying to you about who you are repeatedly so you believe it. Can you imagine how big Enemedia is all of a sudden? It's everywhere and everything, and many at times. It acts in discord and without even knowing it's having you for lunch today. That your life has a purpose is arguably the second most important thing that Enemedia has hidden from you. YOLO instead is the message. So let's go have fun forever? Listen, don't be a loser. There is lots of fun to be had pursuing your one purpose in life. All of the other fun is, well, plagiarized. We'll tell you how in another video you will know your one purpose when you will start to have a lot of fun. We'll bring in Pavlina and Csikszentmihalyi in equal measure and throw in some Arnold too. If you agree with Ene that the galactic implications of you living and dying with a mission and purpose in heart are far superior than plagiarized fun, then this next point is especially for you, where we talk about education. Education is the single most deceptive tool that the Enemedia shall employ to keep your skill set diluted, your mind confused, your time and life stuck and wasted. Skills that you will need to achieve your life purpose are somehow your most important friends. Now on to number 4. You may not have goals, nor may you have skills, but you do have power. Sure, the Enemedia and the elite won't have you holding a few different passports, make money on your own terms, go wherever it is you would go unfettered, be a mercenary to your cause, even leave your own country without permission, etc. But this is about all they can get at. Almost every one of you are way, way more powerful. Our job will be to show you how. Number 5, that it should not be all about money. Particularly not about the printed money of today's men, else you will be like that monkey that gets caught because it won't pull his hand out without the candy. Even if all you ever wanted was to change the world, look at how these guys are doing, having been busy for far, far longer, with extraordinary faculties, titanic personalities, using personal money like heroes, when compared to this one who has arguably far, far lower measures of absolutely all of those things. And this coming straight from our editor, who grew up idolizing Bill Gates. Money is a formidable tool, but then it belongs in a shed. Look for value when spending time or money. Look for passion when working. Begin your charity at home. I'd stop at 8 to 10 million in 2020 money, adjusted for inflation for whenever you're watching this. Don't go crazy. All this builds up to something very respectable. As a famous person once said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. This also happens to be 6th on the list of things the Enemedia likes to keep from us. They want you to just rather focus on nourishing something that will perish with the number of days you continue serving it. Without getting into detail, take pleasure derived out of spending that needs replenishing at the end of each month. Take age. Even with all the advances in gerontology, say even if you keep hanging for a few hundred years, someone could very easily disrupt all that eventually in one fell swoop. We've only ever found new ways of destroying stuff, and it's been a long time since the diamond was forever. A diamond may not be forever anymore, but we would like to. At least until we know we have told you everything we can find on each of these facets of life. Our site, Ene.media, is where the conversation continues. Do tell us in the comments section if you wanted for us to blog about something you cared about. Our name expands to Insatis Nucifera Erectus, literally Ene.media, and we work to help craft a sword-like, ballsy, upright version of you. And we do that with our focus squarely on the deeper reality around us. Neither too left nor too right, just deeper, for the record.
What else is being hidden from us? What else is interrupted? Just how little the best amongst us, the scientists and the researchers, know in the grand scheme of things. Knowledge it is. This is very obvious. It's hardly held back by the Enemedia, but deserves a mention still because they tried. In this whole entire place, just know that you have 5 counted options to probe your way through. Otherwise, you're blind. Until of course this happens. In this last and 8th Enemedia endeavor at hiding stuff, the present and the ultimate reality of our death comes at stake. And to think just how many of us are complicit with the beast in putting our own blindfolds on. They hope and we believe in the small reality of our lives on a day-by-day basis, indefinitely. All of us here had breakfast today like we had yesterday. Well, each of these facets and factors of life need far greater attention than here and now. Hence, this channel will periodically update about matters that we have long been conditioned to not think about. So we must remind you to subscribe to us and to like this video, please, because that shows support like nothing else. We certainly feel less intimidated as we continue this bold journey and take on offshoot topics head-on. So do let us know that you were here. And hey, before you go, if there was something that you would like to see on this channel, or if you merely wanted to speak up in response, the comment section below is all yours. This whole thing is like going on an expedition, and we can do with your company.